Initially, when I was in the thick of like a burnout cycle, I would think that maybe I just needed more rest. Maybe I needed to switch units to like a least stressful nursing position. But time after time, I've been to so many different nursing specialties, so many different units, so many different nursing settings. I would be fine at first, and then eventually I would hit a burnout cycle. That is because I was not aligned with the profession anymore. So that's when I realized that no amount of time off was going to fix the fact that I was living a life that I really didn't want to live anymore. It wasn't going to fix the fact that I was in a role that I secretly no longer wanted to be in. Hey, I'm Mel, a former registered nurse turned entrepreneur and mentor for the burned out nurse who secretly dreams of leaving nursing, but she feels scared to take that leap. So if you're a nurse and you've been suffering with burnout, feeling exhausted, and you feel terrified to walk away from nursing, this is exactly what I would do. Make sure you take some notes so you can refer back to these. So step 1, the first thing I would do is really get honest about what you want. This is the part where you got to be real with yourself. So not what you think you should want, not what everybody else is expecting you to want, but what you actually want. Is that still nursing? What does insert your name want? Really ask yourself that and get honest with the answer. That's the only way that you can start to make a change, is to first be honest with yourself about where you currently are. It's okay if you want a different role than what you're currently in. It is okay to want something else. So I had to stop asking myself, what's the safest choice? What's the most accepted choice? And I had to really ask myself what it was that I wanted. What was the choice that Mel wanted? So ask yourself, what would actually make you start to feel alive again? What would actually make you start to feel nourished? Like you're actually living a life that you want to live, and not like you're settling for survival mode and burnout and exhaustion. Because staying in those cycles of burnout and exhaustion and overwhelm is only killing you. There's only so much that we can take, that our bodies can physically take, before they start to deteriorate from being in these constant stressful states. So now is the time to really get honest with yourself about what you're experiencing, the type of life that you want to experience, and then you can move on from there. Step 2, the next thing I would do is release any and all guilt related to your decision, and really give yourself permission to rewrite your story. So step 2 is like a 2-in-1, right? I want to reframe something for you in your mind. So you going to school, you getting nursing degrees, you going down the path and the journey to becoming a nurse was not for nothing. It shaped you into the woman that you are today, the person that you are today. But you need to understand that your degrees do not determine your destiny. Your role as a nurse right now does not determine your destiny. Just because you decided to get into the career of nursing and you decided to become a nurse, if you feel misaligned now, like you're always burnt out, anxious, overwhelmed, and exhausted, clearly there is something that needs to change. So you don't have to stay stuck in this. You don't have to retire in this just because this is the career that you picked. And a lot of times we pick careers at a young age because that's what we're taught to do, is to pick something when we're young, to go to school to become that thing. And then a lot of times as you go into that thing and you keep doing it, you realize that, oh, this ain't what I really want to do. So many people stay stuck in that career choice because we're taught to retire in our 60s and to just suck it up. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to accept that. That is a mediocre life if you really don't want to be living that life. If you no longer resonate with being a nurse, you no longer want to be a nurse deep down, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your soul and your spirit, that it's time for you to do something else. You owe it to yourself to allow yourself to rewrite your story, to get curious and to experiment and try something else. So you can honor your nursing journey, you can honor your nurse identity and how far you've come while still honoring where you're going. You can still want more. It is perfectly okay to want to transition into something else that doesn't require as much pressure, where burnout and stress isn't normalized. You have to give yourself the permission to release any guilt that you're feeling around that. So if you think to yourself, I'm not guilty, I don't feel guilt, a lot of times it's unconscious, because we have all of this unconscious, subconscious programming going on in our minds, in our subconscious mind. A lot of times we're not even aware of the emotions that we're truly carrying related to this decision, wanting to transition out of your nursing career. So a lot of times you hold on to this guilt and you don't even know it. Step 2 is really about getting honest with yourself about what you're feeling and about where you want to go and what type of life you want to create, what type of life you want to live, what type of life you feel excited to wake up to. Step 3 is to really find clarity before making your decision. This is very important. Make sure you put a star next to this one in your notes. You don't have to figure everything out today. You don't have to have this 50-year plan all today. A lot of times we allow that to stop us in our tracks. We think we need all the answers and all the steps before we can take one step, but that's not true. If I've learned anything in this journey, I'm going to repeat this as many times as I need to in these videos. You must take the first step in order to gain clarity. Once you start taking steps, more and more clarity, momentum, clear direction on where it is that you should go will come to you. Just trust me on this. You have to give yourself permission to take the step, because that's when the clarity comes. And if you like, take what step? You only need clarity on your right next step. If that's staying in nursing, great. If that's leaving nursing and exploring something else, exploring a different path, great. But you need clarity on what it is that you're going to do. Can you stay in this same exact space that you're currently in? Can you stay burned out exactly as you are 10 years from now? Will you be okay if this is just what your life is like for the rest of your life? I know for me, when I was a burned out nurse and I felt stuck and I was scared to leave, but deep down I felt like I needed to leave, the answer was no. I couldn't do that long term. Once you get the clarity, that does make it easier for you to take your next step. This is exactly why I created my free masterclass, to help the nurse who's burned out gain real clarity about what she should do next, whether that's staying in nursing or moving on to the next thing, starting her new chapter, trying something new, and how to make that decision without guilt, but how to make it from their gut, like what they truly feel. That's how you learn not to regret your decisions. Once you learn to trust your gut, hear your gut, listen to your gut, you're able to make decisions from a place of clarity and peace. So that's exactly what my masterclass helps you do. If you're interested in that, I highly recommend it. The link is in the description below. It's free. Sign up for it. Get the clarity you need about your next step. For a lot of nurses, that will be your right next step. So you can really gain the clarity about whether you should stay in nursing or leave nursing. And from there, the path becomes so much clearer. Once you're able to get clarity, feel confident about your choice, about your decision, all the pieces fall into place. So if you've been afraid to make a move and you've been staying where you are out of fear, I want to remind you that staying stuck is not noble. Staying stuck doesn't make you a good nurse. Staying stuck doesn't make you a loyal nurse. What it makes you is a nurse who is abandoning herself and her true needs and desires, silencing your intuition and not following through with what your body is screaming at you. Your body's screaming that it's time to make a change. Your body's screaming that it's time to do something different. It's time to get some clarity on this. You deserve to live a life that truly feels aligned for you. Not for your mom, not for your dad, whoever it is that you're staying in the nursing role for, even though you really want to leave. Not for them, but for you. You deserve peace, to be fulfilled, to live a life that you truly love, that you wake up excited for. You deserve to do work that you feel passionate about, that you feel fulfilled with, that you feel excited to do. You deserve so much more than what you're settling for. And I promise you, you absolutely can create that, but you have to give yourself permission to create that for you. So what are you going to do? So what's your next move going to be? Remember, the link is in the description to sign up for the free masterclass. Remember, you absolutely are worthy of a life that doesn't require you to be burned out, that doesn't require you to be exhausted as your baseline, that doesn't require you to be stuck in survival mode. Once you come out of that, I'm telling you, there is absolutely life on the other side. There is absolutely another way. You don't have to stay stuck unless you want to. If you need help with transitioning out of nursing, out of burnout, definitely subscribe to my channel. If you know a nurse who's burned out, who wants to transition, who talks about quitting nursing, but she's afraid, send her my way. Thank you for watching. Like this video, share, do all the things. See you next time. Bye.